When you first start out in Starfield, you have very few resources. You need XP, credits, and resources to upgrade your ships, weapons, and equipment. This video will show you how to build an AMP, snake oil, and O2 shot, XP, and credits farm. You can then craft the aid resource, AMP, snake oil, and O2 shots at a pharmaceutical lab. You will get XP when you craft the pharmaceuticals, and you can sell the O2 shots to just about any vendor in Starfield. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I plan to drop new Starfield Moments videos often. To craft the O2 shots at a pharmaceutical lab, you need to first have the O2 shot recipe. The magazine, Neon Nights No. 3, will grant you the ability to craft the O2 shots. I will travel to Vol 2 to get the Neon Nights magazine. Upon arriving at Neon City, head towards the Astral Lounge.
Well, with all signs pointing to the Astral Lounge.
Upon reaching the base of the stairs to the Astral Lounge, turn right and take the trade tower elevator.
Has a private penthouse at the top of the tower. The view from up there must be breathtaking.
Select the floor to visit the CeltCorp offices.
Have things for you.
Upon entering the CeltCorp office, head straight to the very rear of the office. You will find a white sofa. On the sofa's right armrest, you can take the magazine, Neon Nights 3.
This morning, and I'm not spending another break at my desk listening to Cody eat with his mouth.
Here is the resource shopping list that shows the minimum resources needed to build a starter O2 shot farm. I will be building 2 outposts. The first outpost will be on Jemison. Here are outpost modules I will use. When I travel to the planet Jemison in the Alpha Centauri star system, I land many times and use my scanner to locate an area that has argon gas, chlorine gas, and water resources. Once you land on Jemison, open your scanner and take a look around. Notice that the resources that show on the scanner are only chlorine and water. As I look toward the horizon, I am seeing snow-covered mountains. The current biome I am in is trees and green vegetation. I will run toward the snowy mountains in the distance. I am only seeing chlorine gas and water. I want 3 resources: argon gas, chlorine gas, and water. I have reached the boundary between the 2 biomes. Time to bring out the outpost marker to check for resources again. I will keep running around and checking for resources until I find the 3 resources I am searching for. It can take some time, however, but with some persistence, you will succeed in locating the 3 resources: argon gas, chlorine gas, and water. Once you find them, you can place the outpost marker. Now I will place 1 chlorine gas extractor. Next, I will place one argon gas extractor. The hardest outpost module I have found to place is the landing pad with Ship Builder. I usually have to move the landing pad all around the build site until I find a good spot. This level ground made it easy to get the landing pad placed. I will now place one liquid water extractor. I will now place two large liquid storage containers to hold the water. I like to stack the containers like stairs. This lets me see the containers better and also makes them easier to link to other modules. I always link the stacked containers from the bottom to the top. I will now place two sets of large gas storage containers, one set to hold the argon gas and the other set to hold the chlorine gas. I will stack the containers like stairs and link them together from the bottom to the top. I will now link the argon extractor to the bottom container on one set of the large gas storage containers. I will now link the chlorine extractor to the bottom container on the other set of the large gas storage containers. I will now link the liquid water extractor to the bottom container on the large liquid storage containers. I will now place a transfer container. All of the topmost storage containers will be linked to this module. I will now link the top containers for the chlorine gas, argon gas, and liquid water containers to the transfer container module. I will now place two sets of large storage containers, one set to hold the metabolic agent resource and the other set to hold the toxin resource. I will stack the containers like stairs and link them together from the bottom to the top. The top container on each set will also be linked to the transfer container module. I will now place 2 large storage containers. These containers will be used later on to hold the sedative resource needed to craft the snake oil aid item. The topmost container will be linked to the transfer container module. Next, 2 greenhouses will be placed. One greenhouse will farm metabolic agent, the other greenhouse will farm toxin. Before you can place greenhouses, you will need to achieve the botany skill. The plants being farmed in the 2 greenhouses to get the metabolic agent and toxin resources must first be fully scanned before you can assign the resource in the greenhouse console. If you have not fully scanned the following plants, pause the video and run around and scan for these 2 plants. For metabolic agent, fully scan the plant tufted snow willow. For toxin, fully scan the plant cold cave nettle. Use the control console to change the build list for the second greenhouse to farm toxin. Now I will link the topmost liquid water container to each of the greenhouses. Now each greenhouse will be linked to bottom container on each set of large storage containers. One set will hold the metabolic agent and the other set will hold the toxin resources. I will now build a habitat by placing an airlock and a round habitat module. The O2 shot farm needs 21 power to operate. I will add 2 wind turbine advanced modules. I will rename my outpost to Jemison Outpost 02 Shot. I will now add some windows to the habitat. And an industrial workbench. A pharmaceutical lab will be needed to craft the AMP, snake oil, and O2 shot 8 items. I will now travel to Procyon 3 in the Procyon A star system. Here, I will set up an outpost to farm and ranch the resource Sedative. Once I land on Procyon 3, I will bring out the scanner and look for the water resource. I will then plant the outpost marker. Next, I will place a ship landing pad with ship builder. Now, a liquid water extractor will be placed. I will now place 2 large, liquid, storage containers to hold the water. I always link the stacked containers from the bottom to the top. I will now place 2 sets of large storage containers, one set to hold the fiber resource and the other set to hold the sedative resource. I will stack the containers like stairs and link them together from the bottom to the top. I will now place a transfer container. All of the topmost storage containers will be linked to this module. I will now link the top containers for the liquid, water, fiber, and sedative containers to the transfer container module. I will rename my outpost to Procyon 3 Outpost Sedative. I will now use the Ship Builder control console to call my Frontier cargo ship to this landing pad. I use the Modify Ships option, enter Ship Builder mode, and the exit out of the Ship Builder control console. My ship will now be on the landing pad. I will now place 1 greenhouse that will farm the fiber resource. I will also move the transfer container to a more optimal position. I will now place 1 animal husbandry facility that will ranch the sedative resource. The plant being farmed in the greenhouse to get the fiber resources must first be fully scanned before you can assign the resource in the greenhouse console. The animal being ranched in the animal husbandry facility to get the sedative resource must first be fully scanned before you can assign the resource in the husbandry's console. If you have not fully scanned the plant and animal, pause the video and run around and fully scan them. For fiber, fully scan the plant frostweed. I will change the animal husbandry facility to ranch sedative using the control console. For sedative, fully scan the animal flocking octomaggot grazer. I will now link the topmost liquid water container to both the greenhouse and the animal husbandry facility. Next, link the greenhouse to the bottommost large storage container to hold the farmed fiber resource. Next, link the topmost fiber large storage container to the animal husbandry facility. Then link the animal husbandry facility to the bottommost large storage container to hold the ranch sedative resource. The sedative outpost needs 11 power to operate. I will add 1 wind turbine advanced module. I will now link the liquid water extractor to the bottom container on the large liquid storage containers. The sedative outpost is complete. On Venus, in the Sol star system, you can sit or sleep for 1 hour of time, and that represents 100 hours of UT time. I will now fast travel to Venus and land. I will now sit down in a chair and wait for 21 hours of Venus time, which is 2,100 hours UT time. All of the storage containers will now be full on Jemison and Procyon 3.
It's good to be out and about. The lodge gets stuffy sometimes.
I will now fast travel back to my sedative outpost on Procyon 3 in the Procyon A star system to collect the sedative resource. I will collect the sedative from the 2 large storage containers. I will now fast travel back to my O2 shot outpost on Jemison in the Alpha Centauri star system to start crafting the AMP, snake oil, and O2 shot 8 items. I first need to transfer the sedative I have in my inventory into the 2 empty, large storage containers. I will now use the Pharmaceutical Lab to craft the aid resource amp. As you can see, you can craft a lot of amp. I will now use the Pharmaceutical Lab to craft the aid resource snake oil. As you can see, you can craft a lot of snake oil. I will now use the Pharmaceutical Lab to craft the aid resource O2 shot. As you can see, you can craft a lot of O2 shot. You can sell the amp, snake oil, and O2 shot 8 items to just about any vendor in Starfield settled systems. Here are some final thoughts. If I wanted to make this my main outpost, I would add container stacks for gas, liquid, warehouse, and the large storage containers. I would then transfer the entire Frontier's cargo hold to these container stacks. Since all your ships share the same cargo space, this will free up cargo space on the other ships. I would also add a research station, 2 crew stations, weapons bench, spacesuit bench, bounty clearance board, weapon turrets and robot dogs, and the security robot. When you need build resources, the new Atlantis vendors on Jemison are very close by. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I plan to drop new Starfield Moments videos often.